We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyah.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen QueenAShakur show. I'm your host, Queen QueenAShakur, and this is your daily vitamin. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. And as per usual, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Okay? So let's get into it. Hello, Pretoria Afro. All right, Cookie's here. Khalid Herleen. Miss Evie is in the house. Claudette, Auntie Leah, Keita B. All right, Samantha. Jamori Dion is here. All Hell Nah is in the house. Cookie. Okay, above all that drama. Shout out. Hey, Sheila. Miss Evie's here. Okay, shout out to my moderators putting in work. I see you, Bookhorse DC. Cinchi D. Groot is here. All right, Dragon Lily. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's get into it. You guys, I didn't expect to come right back this soon. But nonetheless, Tony Busby, now listen, I want you all to pay attention. Because I specifically told you guys that Tony Busby had something up his sleeve. And when everybody was going in on Tony Busby, said, oh, why would he do this? Why would he do that? Why did he put that girl up there to do that interview? And she had her story inconsistent. I told you guys that Tony Busby was holding the ace of spades. I told you guys that he was holding the trump card. All right, didn't I tell you guys that? I told you guys that he was baiting Jay-Z and Alex Spiro. Didn't I tell you guys that once in the chat? If you remember me telling you that Tony Busby was baiting them. Hey, Nubian Cutie, you're welcome. Didn't I tell you all that once in the chat? If you remember me telling you guys that he was baiting Jay-Z and Alex Spiro. I want you all to pay attention. Cookie said, Queen, you did say that. All right. All right, there it is. Now, because I'm no hater, I'm going to shout out Tisa Tales, because one thing that Tisa Tales was right about, and I agreed with it, was when she cited a case, and Tony Busby has cited that same case. Okay, basically, you can't expect someone that has autism and someone who was a minor to remember every little detail specifically from years ago. So I want y'all to pay attention. I want you all to pay attention with that all being said. Okay, so let's get into it. Now, I still don't think the incident happened in 2003, but with that all being said, let's talk about it because I forgot to read you all this lawsuit the other day or this filings the other day that was filed on the 18th. I could have sworn I read it to you guys, but there was so much legal paperwork that I went through. And I guess I left this one out, but I'm just going to go through the end of it, okay? So you all can see exactly what Buzbee was responding to. Likes up, everyone, please. A like and share. Thank you in advance. Thank you in advance. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm pulling up the right one. Okay, yeah, this is it right here. Okay, so now remember, Jay-Z had an emergency motion filed because he was trying to get out of it, trying to get them to drop the case and all of that. That's what he was doing, trying to get them to drop the case real quick. Now, this is what his attorney, Alex Spiro, they had a whole table of contents. Please pay attention. They had a whole table of contents. Now, I want you all to keep in mind that when you get something right, I will shout you out. Okay, but when I feel like you're lying or anything like that, I'll call you out too. Okay, y'all know how I do. All right, so with that all being said, and shout out again to the winners of the trivia. Okay, Luna, you need to send me your email, beloved, so I can send you a consolation prize. Okay, so now let's talk about this real quick. What Alex Spiro had, in fact, filed. Preliminary statement. Admissions by the plaintiff and damning admissions by her own father in a December 13th revelatory NBC interview cast yet further doubt on a claim that was obviously false from the start. The timeline, location, and the occurrence of events alleged and plaintiff's complaint are rendered impossible by these admissions. She claims her father picked her up after the assault. This must be a typo. He ever taken that 5-hour trip? Basically, he said he didn't remember taking the trip, okay? She claims her father picked her up and he didn't remember. She claims she spoke with musician Benji Madden that night and he was not even in New York. She claims the assault took place at an after party hosted in a private residence. Photos show Mr. Carter at an after party at a nightclub. When pressed by NBC, plaintiff was forced to admit, I have made some mistakes. I may have made a mistake in identifying. Not all the faces there are as clear. And even that she was guessing about key details, including the time it took to reach the venue. Well, of course, that was common sense. I told you guys that, she said approximately about 20 minutes. That was not exact. She was merely making an estimation. And then if you think back to that, she was 13 years old and it's been 20 plus years ago. I told you guys they can expect her to remember all the details. And I also told you guys that me, myself, having been a victim of assault, that there are certain things that I still don't remember to this day. Okay, remember me telling you guys that? So I thought it was ridiculous that they would expect for a child to remember everything. But, I guess Jay-Z thought he was on to something. So I'm just going to read this last part. Now, conclusion. For the reasons stated above, a preservation order is necessary to ensure that plaintiff and her counsel, Busby, and the Busby law firm preserve all evidence relevant to this case. And given that the NBC interview revealed the meritless nature of the allegations against Mr. Carter, the FAC should be stricken under Rule 12F. As such, Mr. Carter respectfully requests that the court issue the attached proposed order to show cause, ordering Busby and his firm to show cause as to why a preservation order should not issue and why the FAC should not be stricken and Mr. Carter dismissed from this action, and to set a hearing on this motion for Thursday, December the 19th at 9 a.m. or as soon thereafter as the court deems appropriate. Okay, and this was dated December the 18th. Quinn Emanuel Urquhart and Sullivan, LLP, okay, by Alex Spiro. Okay, so that all been said. Now let's see what Busby had to say about all of this. I want you all to pay attention. I want you all to pay attention because Jay-Z thought that it was just going to be over and done with, but not so fast, Mr. Carter. Not so fast. And if you missed the broadcast that I did earlier, my first broadcast of the day, please go back and watch, because I told you guys that I had a vision. I told you days ago I had a vision, and I wasn't going to speak on it until I figured out exactly what it meant. Then I had a dream that reaffirmed the vision. Okay. And so I was able to figure it all out. As far as I'm concerned, I still go back and watch that video about Usher, Jay-Z, and Russell Simmons. Okay. Now, let's get into it, what Mr. Busby had to say. I'm going to share my screen. Going to share my screen. This case is getting more and more nefarious as the days go past. Okay, please pay attention. Please pay attention, your name. Okay. So the Griff Dice Hard here says she was also drugged for crying out loud. Or for crying out loud. Yes, absolutely. Okay, Evelyn says how she remembers that she was SA, but all the rest she said is not correct. Well, no, it's not that everything else she said was not correct, beloved. Okay, we haven't figured all of that out yet. Okay, more details remain to be seen. Now, at the end of the day, and like I said, that was over 20 years ago, and she's a teenager at the time with autism. Okay, so let's pay attention to that at the end of the day. Now, I'm sure all of this will be hashed out soon enough. Okay, so here's what Busby had to say. I'm telling you guys, now I want you all to pay attention, because I told you all that Tony Busby is a good attorney. Okay, I told you guys that initially I said he was an ambulance chaser, but when I did research on him, this man was the attorney of the year in 2015 in Texas. He's made billions, or he's won billions of dollars in settlements. And I also showed you all how he gets down in the courtroom. I showed you all how he gets down in the courtroom. So he's very thorough as far as I'm concerned. Okay, Dainty says she's a liar, came to the realization, move on. At the end of the day, don't tell me to move on, honey. Let me just put your ass out of my chat. Okay, that's what you can do. All right, if you don't like what the queen is cooking, what did I say at the beginning of the broadcast? Now, if you think she's a liar, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. I'm not saying that she isn't a liar. That's fine, and that's one thing. But don't come in my chat telling me to move on, honey. Who do you think you are? Or better yet, who do you think the queen is? Honey, you need to sit down somewhere. See, that's the kind of stuff right there that'll get you kicked out. Okay, that's the kind of stuff right there that'll get you kicked out. Because for one, you don't have to agree with me. Everybody knows I've already said that 1,000 times. You can absolutely disagree with the queen, but what you won't do is come in here talking slick. Okay? Or you'll get kicked out. Please pay attention. All right. Now, shall I continue? And if you don't want to hear, what I'm saying, why are you in the chats? Didn't I specifically say if you don't like what the queen is cooking, exit stage left? I say that for a reason. So please take a heed, would you? Now let me continue. Auntie Leah says, I do not remember every detail about my life when I was 13 either, especially when it relates to trauma. Exactly. Okay, exactly. Shop Girl said trolls need to get a life. Why are you here? Thank you, beloved. Exactly. I mean, people who go around trolling people's channels don't have anything else to do, obviously, beloved. That's just what that is, okay? They probably go from all different channels just talking trash. All hell no, said the audacity and foolishness is beyond nefarious. Okay? Measure Man says, agree to disagree. Respect. She is the resident president, owner, landlord, and tenant. So goodbye. Fantasia, if you don't want me, don't talk to me. You are absolutely nefarious. Thank you, Measure Man, for letting them know how it goes down in the queendom, and also for your contribution to the channel, beloved. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, y'all are something else. Okay, so now as you can see, this was filed on today, and this is from the Busby law firm. So let's see what he had to say, honey. Dear Judge Torres, my letter motion filed on December 13th of 2024, defendant by letter motion filed on December 13th of 2024, defendant Sean Carter notified the court of his intention to file a motion to strike and motion for sanctions immediately under Rules 11C2 and 12F. As with defendant Carter's prior letters filed in this case, it is historic in tone but substantively groundless. Now, defendant Carter threatens plaintiff with a Rule 11 motion based on questions raised by one single television interview concerning events occurring 24 years ago, when plaintiff was 13 years old. Now, defendant Carter also asked this court to alter the federal rules of civil procedure in his favor by abrogating the mandatory 21-day Rule 11 safe harbor period without any legal support or factual justification whatsoever. The former is frivolous and the latter is impermissible. Okay, impermissible. Now, defendant Carter's threat of Rule 11 motion is frivolous because it characterizes run-of-the-mill disputes of fact as proof that plaintiff's complaint is baseless. None of the factual issues Carter identifies are sufficient even to grant summary judgment in Carter's favor, much less support Rule 11 sanctions. The fact that the defendant or a potential witness does not agree with or recollect the facts alleged in the complaint does not and cannot give rise to a motion for sanctions for filing a baseless complaint. Defendant Carter's threats of an immediate sanctions motion on the first whisper, he says, of factual uncertainty is just one more instance of bullying intended to have a chilling effect on plaintiff's counsel, and any potential plaintiffs watching these proceedings. Now, I want you all to pay attention. I want you all to pay attention because you see, Jay-Z got ahead of himself, and I have to ask myself, how smart is his attorney? Okay, how smart is his attorney? Please pay attention. At the end of the day, why would his attorney even file this? You have to ask yourself. Now, before I continue to the next part of this filing, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so with that all been said, don't forget that you can purchase 12 Tribes for your hair at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so with that all been said, listen, for those of you saying this young lady is lying, at the end of the day, do you not know anything about teens or children with intellectual disabilities? Do you not know anything about people with intellectual disabilities? Okay, just because they get some things inaccurate doesn't mean that they're necessarily lying. And are you just going to skirt past the fact that Larry Johnson said something about Jay-Z with minors? And let's not forget the allegations about other people that Jay-Z has dated allegedly when they were minors, including but not limited to Beyonce, allegedly. Okay, are y'all just going to skirt past that? Okay, are y'all just going to skirt past that? I have several questions. Okay, I have several questions. So with that all being said, now moderators, how many moderators do I have in here? Because we got some Jay-Z fans who are butthurt and bit out of shape. Okay, please pay attention. Moderators, if you see anybody being disrespectful to myself, you, or anyone else in the chat, you already know what to do. Okay, you already know what to do. Thank you, Dan. Dan said he's on it. All right. So let's continue. Now, with that all being said, as a Rule 11 motion is frivolous on the additional grounds that expected a victim of S assault over 2 decades ago when that victim was a minor, and as her interview revealed, also autistic. Now, here's the thing. Didn't I tell you guys that the reason Tony Busby allowed her to do that interview is because he wanted people to know that she was autistic? Didn't I tell you guys that he wanted people to know that she was autistic, because that was not mentioned in any of the filings previously? Okay, so please pay attention. Fernando says, serious question. How do we know that that girl has special needs? We don't. I guess just because we say she does. No, not because we say she does, beloved. You see, these things are all allegations right now, and it's not up to me to prove anything. It's up to Tony Busby to prove it. So if you really want to know how you should know, you should wait for Tony Busby to come out with that information, okay? And then we'll go from there. Because you see, the bottom line is this will all come out in the wash. This will all come out in court, beloved, okay? I'm not in the court. I'm not the representation for the young lady. But at the end of the day, I can assure you that if Tony Busby said she has autism, she absolutely has it. I can assure you that, as I told you all days before, Tony Busby, making all of the money that he makes, having been an attorney as long as he's been, being an award-winning attorney at that, what he's not going to do is risk his livelihood, his career, or his reputation with foolishness over one measly case. That's what I told you guys. So please just sit back and wait. Okay? Max says, but you're being a bit biased in your reporting. So what? So what if I'm being biased in your opinion? How am I being biased? By reporting the facts as they're presented. I didn't say that Jay-Z was guilty. I didn't say that the young woman wasn't lying. So where's the bias? I have several questions for you. And if you think I'm being biased, well, what do you call what you're being? What do you call what you're being? If you're so dead set on saying the young lady is lying and Jay-Z isn't, then aren't you in fact being biased? I'm sorry. Please make yourself make sense. And also, you don't have to listen to what the queen is saying. How many times did I say that? And also, here's the thing. Aren't I entitled to my opinion, sir, just as you are? Okay, am I not entitled to my opinion? And even if I am being biased, that's my prerogative. I can be biased and so can you, which is clearly what you're doing. So let's not call someone else biased when that's exactly what you're being, beloved. Okay? Leah said, Auntie Leah said, this ain't Fox News. That's right. It's not. He says, I'm only going on the facts, not fiction, Miss Lady. I'm not your Miss Lady, okay? That's what I'm not. And you don't know the facts, okay? That's what you don't know. None of us do as of yet. All right? This is all allegations thus far. The facts will be proven at a later date. Measure Man said the queen doesn't make the news. She just reports facts with receipts. Thank you, beloved. Exactly. Thank you for your insight to the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay. Monique said, you told us loud and clear they were being baited. Yes, I absolutely did. And they fell for it. They absolutely were being baited. See, Tony Busby had a plan. His plan was to put that young lady out there on the news, knowing that she had inconsistencies in her statements. Okay, knowing that she already had inconsistencies, but he also already knew that she was autistic, that she was a minor when these events allegedly happened, and that she was going to say something likely during the interview that would make Jay-Z and Alex Spiro just rush to judgment and think that they've got it all settled, that now we can just get it kicked out of here and dismissed. Okay? That's what he knew. I told you guys, the man had a plan and he was baiting them and they took the bait. That's why they filed that motion trying to get it dismissed. Okay? They absolutely fell for it, just like I knew they would. Tony Busby is smarter than Alex Spiro. That's just the fact. Tony Busby is smarter than Alex Spiro. Now, let me continue. With that all being said, goes on to say, Defendant Carter twists plaintiff's words when he accuses her, for instance, of guessing at the timing of events alleged in the complaint, such as the length of car rides. But New York courts have expressly acknowledged that plaintiffs in this type of case cannot be expected to have exacting recall and command of all relevant facts. And then he lists the case Pistula v. Roman Catholic Archdiocese of New York, okay, where they say we recognize that in matters of sexual abuse involving minors, as recounted by survivors years after the fact, dates and times are sometimes approximate and incapable of calendrical exactitude, meaning that they may not remember the exact dates and times. And approving allegations spanning a 4-year window of time in which the abuse could have occurred. Now, there is no basis for a Rule 11 motion here. Now, my question is, how the hell did Alex Spiro know this? How did Alex Spiro know this? Well, because he got ahead of himself, okay? Because they thought sure that Tony Busby's just some ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. That's what they thought. And now the joke's on them. Okay, now the joke is on them, but let's continue. And anybody who's mad, just stay mad. And if you want to, you can put on a cape and be super mad for all I care. Now, with that all being said, goes on to say that there is no basis for a Rule 11 motion here, and if filed, such a motion would itself be subject to Rule 11 motion in response. Of course, we cannot prevent Defendant Carter from wasting the resources of this court and all parties in pursuing one. However, Defendant Carter's request that the court shorten the filing deadline for his threatened Rule 11 motion from 21 days to 1 day is entirely improper. Carter fails to cite any precedent whatsoever to support this astonishing request, okay? Because there is none. You see, there is no case that sets precedent. And so therefore, why did Spiro even file it? I have to ask myself. Now, Carter also fails to cite any reason why the federal rules of civil procedure should be abrogated in his favor in this particular case. Again, there is none. Okay, y'all gonna stop playing around with Tony Busby, honey. Y'all gonna stop sleeping on this man. I told y'all. I slept on him for a second. I said, wait a minute now. Okay, this man's an ambulance chaser and clearly up to something nefarious. But at the end of the day, he's on point. Okay, he's on point. Now, the 21-day safe harbor rule or safe harbor under Rule 11 exists to provide parties and counsel time to assess the objections being made and to withdraw or modify a pleading or other prop or paper if necessary. Now, and then they list another case, Fierro v. Gallucci. Now, the safe harbor period has been recognized by the Second Circuit as a strict procedural requirement. And then they list another case. So, safe harbor requires motion to be served 21 days prior to their filing. It cannot be shortened here because Mr. Carter and his counsel request as such, whether in an attempt to play gotcha or to exert additional pressure on plaintiff or for any other reason. See, the reason Jay-Z and his attorney did this, in my opinion, was not only to try to hurry up and get this case dismissed or get him taken off of the case or whatever, to remove him from the case, but also to discourage anyone else who dare to think about bringing any allegations against him. Now, let's not forget that I told you all days ago about several other cases to which Jay-Z and Beyonce were listed. They were accused, and those were deemed as frivolous and thrown out of court. Now, they likely thought the same would happen right here. Okay, that's absolutely what I'll bet you Jay-Z was thinking. So, from the outset, Defendant Carter and his counsel have shrilly maintained an entitlement to different rules and faster procedures, from expedited briefing on the issue of anonymity and a summary dismissal of plaintiff's complaint to now a wholesale elimination of the 21-day safe harbor rule under Rule 11. In each instance, the goal has been to blur the facts and rush a decision, but there is aggressive advocacy and then there is bad faith. Mr. Carter's latest tactics, much like his open threat to refer plaintiff's attorneys for disciplinary action, crossed the line. And I like his nerve talking about referring Tony Busby for disciplinary action after his whole team has been accused of trying to bribe people. Moreover, outside of the courtroom, Mr. Carter has employed tactics of intimidation and harassment, even more extreme, torturous, and quite possibly illegal. My firm recently filed a lawsuit in Harris County, Texas, that details how Mr. Carter's company, Rock Nation, and his counsel have bribed my clients to file lawsuits against my firm, threatened former clients, impersonated state officials, and engaged in other behavior far beyond the pale of acceptable conduct. Now, if Jay-Z didn't do anything at all ever, why would his attorneys be doing all of these things? Why would they be risking their livelihood and their licenses to practice law? Their tactics won't work, and they will be addressed in more detail in connection with the parties' briefing on plaintiff's anonymity. Now, with that all being said, you all see how this is turning out. I just want y'all to pay attention. I just want you all to pay attention. Okay, are y'all hearing this? Are y'all hearing this? I find it all very interesting, beloveds. Not so dumb blonde says, in my opinion, he's got evidence to prove they were there. In my opinion, she spoke. But what does Busby have to prove this? You betcha he's got way more corroborating evidence with other big names in the wings. And that's what I think. That's a very good point. And that's exactly what I was thinking, because we don't know what, if anything, Celebrity C has said. Did Celebrity C go ahead and settle with Busby behind closed doors in the dark of night to avoid having their name put out there? Did Celebrity C cooperate and give information corroborating anything that the woman said in order to evade being brought forward and accused and having the embarrassment that Jay-Z now has to endure? We don't know. But I told you guys that Tony Busby had something up his sleeve. Okay? I told you guys. Andrew Vesson says, Queen, I'm paying attention. Thank you, beloved. Miss Sanders says, Queen, we all know that Jay-Z and Miss Carter were friends of Kamala Harris, but you guys knew that Kamala Harris's sister works for NBC News. This is very suspect that they set this Jane Doe up. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me Kamala's sister works for NBC News? I didn't know that. I did not know that. Say what now? Metro Man said, I can't understand the incoherent Rock Nation statements that keep coming out. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me Kamala's sister works for NBC? I did not know that. That's interesting. But let's continue. Goes on to say, like Mr. Combs, Mr. Carter is rich, famous, and powerful. Mr. Carter will exert all the pressure he can to intimidate and harass plaintiff, me, or anyone else. The chilling effect of those efforts is substantial, as in the potential chilling effect of a Rule 11 motion being brought in these circumstances. But ultimately, in our court system, the rules are the same for Mr. Carter and for the plaintiff here, and the Rule 11 safe harbor cannot be abrogated on his whim. Finally, Defendant Carter raises the status of my admission in the Southern District of New York, as with his previous letters to the court. His December 13 letter includes a substantial amount of defamatory suggestions about me, including that I am somehow attempting to circumvent the authority of this court to reinforce Rule 11 against me. That is nonsense. And I am a member of the State Bar of New York and am admitted to the Eastern District of New York. I intend to apply for reciprocal admission to the Southern District. The fact that I have signed pleadings and letters filed in this court does not reflect any attempt by me to evade responsibility for anything. To the contrary, I have signed those pleadings and papers because I am lead counsel in this and other similar cases pending in this district. Respectfully, Anthony G. Busby. All right, well, there y'all have it. Well, you go right on ahead there, Mr. Busby. Okay, you go right on ahead there, Mr. Busby, because I told you all, y'all gonna start listening to the Queen, honey. Please pay attention. Please pay attention, okay? Giggle said Kamala's sister is an ex-MSNBC analyst. Okay. Thank you. Measure Man said I told them that. Hold on. Said I told them that he has the ability to proxy. This is all something else. Okay. Anyway, with that all being said, Gemini Tennessee said, I've never seen your page before, but started watching the video. I just subscribed to the channel. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Okay. Now, Javi Soprano says Jay-Z is a moron putting on these Rock Nation statements sounding like rap lyrics. Not sounding like rap lyrics. Okay. Easy says, Queen, the G in Busby's middle name is telling. Okay. I find it all so interesting. All right. So there you have it. Busby got down on that one, honey. I told you all it was coming. I told you guys it was coming. I'm impressed. Quite frankly, I'm impressed. Okay. I am impressed because I knew. Let me tell y'all something. You see, like I told you guys, at first I said, okay, Busby, let me just sit back and watch because it's here a little sketchy. And I told you guys that from day one, when he held that press conference and came out, you talking about numerology, talking about 60 here, 120 and 60 here, 60 there. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. He's clearly using numerology. What is this all about? And then that's when I said, okay, this dude's a Mason. This dude is a Mason. That's what I knew. Okay. And he was sending out a dog whistle. And here's the thing. Jay-Z and Diddy broke the Masonic oath, allegedly. Because I can't prove they're Masons, but I absolutely think they are. And I absolutely think they broke the Masonic oath when they sued Bacardi and Diageo. And that's why they are where they are right now. This is what it's all come down to. You see, I told you, when Black folks sit up there and think they can have a seat at the table with these people, the upper echelon, yeah, you can have a seat, but it's only temporary. They're not giving you a permanent seat at the table. And if you don't realize that, go watch the movie Trick Baby, where they show you all about it. That they use some of these people, allow them to gain wealth and fortune and fame, and then have them thinking that they're one of them, but you're not. Okay, you're not. And at the end of the day, as soon as you do anything against them, anything to upset them, anything to go against them, then they're going to show you just who you really are and how you really are not one of them and never were. And they use these people against the rest of us. And so for the people sitting here getting all mad and butthurt and bent out of shape, what has Jay-Z done for you specifically that you're sitting up here caping for him? I mean, sit down somewhere. It's all I'm saying. Now, I don't know if Jay-Z is guilty or innocent. It's not for me to decide. But I am entitled to my opinion. And I absolutely think that Jay-Z has done some nefarious things. Now, if he didn't do anything nefarious in this case, well, I believe that he's done something nefarious in others. That's just what I believe. Okay? And there's going to be more accusations that are going to come flying up out of the woodwork. And I just want you all to pay attention. Okay? Sandra said, bingo all the way, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Okay, Cookie said, Queen, they bit the hand that fed them. Exactly. That's the perfect way to put it. Yes. Okay, absolutely. Hold on. Somebody said something about the Masons. Cut the bullshit. Wayman said, oh, yes, they are Masons. I seen pictures of Jay-Z years ago at a fellow Mason's funeral. He was wearing the garb, too. Okay, see, that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. When you go against the grain, this is what happens. Okay. They don't have the complexion for the protection, unfortunately for them. And then for anybody wanting to say, oh, well, they're bringing them down because they're Black. Well, here's the thing. When you give them something to use against you, that's your own fault. Okay, when you have things that you've done and engaged in, then that's your own fault. And let's not forget what Prodigy said about Jay-Z. So I have no love for Jay-Z or Diddy. As far as I'm concerned, Diddy is partially to blame for Tupac being deceased. Now, that's my opinion at the end of the day. So no, I don't have any love for Diddy, and I hope he rots. Okay, I hope he rots in prison. That's what I hope. At the end of the day, I have no love for Diddy, none whatsoever. All right. And I didn't have any for Jay-Z either, by the way. He's sitting up here hanging out with a whole Hollywood witch. Okay. And what's that all about? Did you ask yourselves? Of course you didn't. Those of you who are these celebrity worshipers. Okay. All of these people who are just these celebrity worshipers, I have questions. Hold on. Let me see if I can find something real quick. Because I think I saw this years ago. Hold on. Let me see something real quick here. Yeah, here we go. Right here. Here's Jay-Z doing the secret handshake. I knew I had seen this before. Okay, I need y'all to pay attention. All right. Jay-Z doing the secret handshake. Well, it's not so much of a secret now, but anyway, I'm going to share my screen. Miss Sheila said they need Jesus. Yeah, they definitely need the Most High. That's what they need. They need the Most High, honey. Pay attention. Y'all see that? Do y'all see that? There he is right there. Do y'all see that? Okay, Danita says a group of false idols. Exactly. Okay. Measure Man says I have a video compilation of him, Kanye, and Barack doing it. Exactly. Okay, y'all see that right there. I know the Masonic handshake when I see it. Please pay attention. So I'm sorry. I mean, if you couldn't see it, beloved, all you gotta do is Google it. All you gotta do is Google it, and you can see it up close and personal. You can sit up close and personal. Monique said, "Don't mess with the queen." Listen to this. All hell no, I said Black Jesus is on vacation. His birthday's coming up. You all are something else. So at the end of the day, I just wanted to pop in here and tell y'all that because I just had to let y'all know that y'all need to be paying attention because I absolutely told you guys that Busby has something up his sleeve. Okay? I told you guys this, and y'all gonna learn to listen. Okay, that's what you're gonna do. Easy said Queen got receipts for that ace. Okay? Queen is queen. And thank you, beloved. The measurement said, I'll email you some stuff, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Send all the receipts you got. Okay. And so with that all being said, hold on. Let me tell you guys about Mayor Eric Adams before we roll out of here. Because hold on, where is it? Oh, here it is right here. Let's talk about him real quick. Him and Spiro. Is it gonna let me access this? Hold on. Hold on. They're trying to get me to subscribe. Hold on. Let me pull up another one where I don't have to subscribe. Eric Adams and Alex Spiro. Okay, here it is. Now, this came out about an hour ago. This came out about an hour ago. So it says feds chide defense attorney Alex Spiro for extrajudicial comments in New York City's Adams case. Since the unsealing of the indictment in this case, defense counsel has repeatedly made false public statements about the facts and evidence in this case. Prosecution claims that the claims of the Queen Emanuel Urquhart and Sullivan partner. Okay, now this, like I said, came out at about 3:19, not even a whole hour ago. Federal prosecutors want a judge to urge New York City Mayor Eric Adams' lawyer to pipe down. Alex Spiro, what are you doing? That's what I want to know. Alex Spiro, what are you doing? Goes on to say that they want him to pipe down, claiming that Alex Spiro is crossing the line in his out-of-court statements about the charges against his client. See, this man's out of pocket. And y'all thought Tony Busby was the problem. Please pay attention. Saying that since the unsealing of the indictment in this case, defense counsel has repeatedly made false public statements about the facts and evidence in the case. Now, this is a letter from the prosecutors, and they reference Quinn Emanuel Urquhart and Sullivan partner. Those statements, including that the public corruption case is contrived, are in violation of local criminal rule 23.1. Okay, and this is according to prosecutors. Now, under that rule, lawyers and firms are duty bound not to make public comments that have a likelihood of interfering with a fair trial. Spiro just can't keep his mouth shut, apparently. He's been out here lying all week. Okay, lying about Jay-Z and Diddy being friends. Prosecutors accuse Spiro of a laundry list of violations. Ooh, honey, I have a feeling he's going to lose his license, okay? I want y'all to pay attention because Tony Busby already is going in on them. Now, says that There's a whole slew of violations since the case went public, including comments he recently made to the New York Times after U.S. District Court Judge Dale Ho of the Southern District of New York declined to dismiss the bribery count against Adams. Says that it took several months for the court to unwind its legal theories, questioning several of them in its ruling and proving the point that this case was simply invented to harm Mayor Adams and not about justice at all. Okay, he told the Times this in an article that was published on Tuesday. Now, prosecutors say Spiro's extrajudicial statements broadly fall into two categories, that the case isn't real and only cobbled together for government amusement, and that the credibility of prospective witnesses is lacking. Defense counsel knows the statements are false. Prosecutors claim that because Spiro is now in possession of discovery outlining their evidence, they say additionally allegations of selective prosecution should be litigated in the court and not in the press. They say Adams, like every criminal defendant, is entitled to a zealous defense. His counsel is free to make arguments about the indictment, the evidence, or the government's witnesses to the court. Defense counsel has instead chosen to litigate this case in press statements, where he can simply pretend that certain facts do not exist, exactly what local criminal rule 23.1 rightly precludes. Sounds like the same thing he's doing in Jay-Z's case. Please pay attention. The letter asked Ho to direct defense counsel to comply with the rule. Spiro told the New York Law Journal that he was glad the government raised the issue and repeated claims that the federal prosecutors had leaked information in order to taint the mayor. Now, they say the press conference is a choice prior administrations not only did not make that but they avoided to prevent potential prejudice against defendants, especially elected officials. Now, Spiro also noted the indictment contained photos and blasted prosecutors' continued assertions that a superseded indictment may be forthcoming, as creating more prejudice towards his client. What the defense has said here in public pales in comparison. Now, the government used to hold itself to a higher standard. They have let us all down. The mayor was indicted in September on bribery, campaign finance, and conspiracy offenses. Prosecutors allege that Adams solicited and accepted bribes in the form of luxury perks and illegal campaign contributions in exchange for access to his influence. Now, he has pleaded not guilty to all charges and maintains that he has done nothing wrong. Adams was previously expected to appear in Manhattan Federal Court on Friday for a status conference, but Ho granted a defense request for an adjournment until January the 20th of 2025. The defense request followed a news conference statement by President-elect Donald Trump, who will be inaugurated on January the 20th, that he would consider a pardon for Adams. The mayor is now due back in court the week of January the 27th, according to Judge Ho. Trial has been scheduled for April. Okay, so it looks like Mr. Spiro's just out here saying stuff and running his mouth. Just out here running his mouth and doing the most, clearly. Cookie says, Queen, Entertainment say that Wendy Williams makes a rare appearance. I don't know for what yet. Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know, beloved. Okay, so do you all hear this? I find it all interesting. Now, hold on. Let me pull up this last receipt, and then I'm out of here. I'm going to share my screen because this is the filing right here. These are the court docs from about Spiro and Adams. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go. This is all nefarious. Okay, so now listen. Dear Judge Ho, since the unsealing of the indictment in this case, defense counsel has repeatedly made false public statements about the facts and evidence in this case that violate local criminal rule 23.1. The government alerted defense counsel to such violations in late September of 2024. And on November the 4th of 2024, the court cautioned that this case is to be tried in the courtroom and not in the press. Nonetheless, defense counsel has continued to violate the rule, including as recently as December 17th of 2024. Accordingly, the government respectfully submits this letter to request that the court direct counsel for the parties to comply with the rule. So once again, it sounds like Mr. Spiro's just not abiding by the rules of criminal procedure. Now, Local Criminal Rule 23.1a provides that it is the duty of the lawyer or firm not to release or authorize the release of non-public information or opinion that a reasonable person would expect to be disseminated by means of public communication in connection with pending or imminent criminal litigation with which they are associated. If there is a substantial likelihood that the dissemination will interfere with a fair trial or otherwise prejudice the due administration of justice. Now, Local Criminal Rule 23.1d goes on to identify various categories of public statements that presumptively interfere with a fair trial or otherwise prejudice the due administration of justice. For example, the rule provides in relevant part that statements of opinion as to the accused's guilt or innocence, or as to the merits of the case or the evidence in the case, are among those that presumptively involve a substantial likelihood that their public dissemination will interfere with a fair trial or otherwise prejudice the due administration of justice. Statements about the credibility of prospective witnesses also presumptively interfere with a fair trial. So they're not supposed to be out here talking so much publicly because this is an ongoing case. They're not supposed to be out here saying things, about the witnesses or whatever, or talking about any evidence that they have. That's what they're not supposed to do. And they're not supposed to be out here making assertions at the end of the day. Now, the potential prejudice is evaluated at the time a statement is made. So it is no defense for an attorney's statement in violation of the rule did not actually prejudice the eventual jury. And then they cite the case United States v. Cutler. Now, on December 17th of 2024, following the court's issuance of a written decision denying the defendant's motion to dismiss count 5 of the indictment, from docket 68, they said the New York Times reported the following statement from defense counsel regarding the court's opinion. Alex Spiro, one of Mr. Adams's lawyers, said in a statement on Tuesday that the ruling was evidence that the prosecution case was contrived, saying that it took several months for the court to unwind its legal theories, questioning several of them in its ruling, and proving the point that this case was simply invented to harm Mayor Adams and not about justice at all. Now, he's basically saying the prosecution is lying, they're just making up stuff, and that they're coming forward with a frivolous case, and that they're just trying to take Mayor Adams down, and he didn't even do anything. Are y'all hearing this? Are y'all paying attention? This is what Alex Spiro said. Alex Spiro is out of pocket like a pistol at a robbery. I want y'all to pay attention. This man is clearly nefarious and can't go by the rules. Now, defense counsel's December 17, 2024 statements are simply the most recent example in a series of false statements. So he's basically out here telling lies, okay? That's what they're saying. False statements about the case made over the past 3 months that violate Local Criminal Rule 23.1. They broadly fall into 2 categories. And those categories, in my opinion, are lies and liars who lie. I want y'all to pay attention because this is Jay-Z's attorney. This is Jay-Z's attorney right here. First, defense counsel has said this case isn't even a real case. Say what now? Isn't that the same thing he pretty much told Busby in so many words? So this isn't even a real case and has accused the government of trying to cobble a story to tarnish the defendant obtaining the indictment because the spectacle of this is so exciting to them. So he is trying to say that they're trying to put on entertainment, that they're just trying to put on a show, that they don't even have a leg to stand on, don't have a case. This is all contrived. It's not real. Okay, it's fake news. And they're just trying to come at Mr. Adams, my client, because they're full of ish. Now, those are his words, not mine. And of course, I'm paraphrasing. Well, that's basically what he's trying to say. Saying they're just making up stuff and throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. I mean, it's the unmitigated gall for me. Please pay attention. Are y'all hearing this? Now, but as the defense is now aware, based on the discovery materials produced to date, there are multiple witnesses who will expressly implicate the defendant in criminal conduct, each of whom is corroborated by electronic communications and other data obtained from over 50 cell phones and other electronic devices and accounts. So basically, they're saying, sir, Mr. Spiro, with all due disrespect, you're sitting up here trying to accuse the state, the government, of falsifying the case, just coming up with bullshit, just to embarrass your client and just to put on a spectacle and to be for the amusement and entertainment of the public. But sir, we have all these witnesses, over 50 of them, okay? We have all of these witnesses from over 50 cell phones, okay? Data obtained from over 50 cell phones and other electronic devices that we're going to bring and show forth the proof. This is probably what's going to happen in the case of Jay-Z, because I already told you guys, and you heard it here first, other people are going to be coming out against Jay-Z real soon. Now, with that all being said, especially since they see what a bumbling idiot Alex Spiro is, okay, please pay attention. Now, even defense counsel's extrajudicial statements suggesting that the travel benefits lavished upon the defendant by the Turkish official resemble the mundane conveyances received by non-corrupt public officials are belied by the electronic communications and airline and hotel records turned over to the defense. That defense counsel is not simply releasing the non-public information received in discovery, but rather mischaracterizing it in an effort to shape public opinion, okay? To shape public opinion, and it's not a defense to a plain violation of the rule, because defense counsel's statement nonetheless remain opinion as to the accused's guilt or innocence, or as to the merits of the case or the evidence in the case. Meaning that they presumptively involve a substantial likelihood that their public dissemination will interfere with a fair trial or otherwise prejudice the due administration of justice. Defense counsel's improper public comments about the merits of the case and the government's motivations seek to taint the jury pool with a false narrative. Okay, accusing the government of investigating the defendant and obtaining the indictment as retribution for certain positions the defendant took as mayor starting in or about October 2022. As defense counsel knows from the government's discovery materials, the government's investigation of the defendant's criminal conduct began in 2021. Well before the defendant took these particular positions or was even elected mayor, and was based on concrete evidence that the defendant's campaign sought and received illegal campaign contributions. Moreover, even if defense counsel did not know that this narrative was false, that would not entitle them to attempt to provide or to prove it outside of the courtroom. Defendants have no constitutional right to use the media to influence public opinion concerning this case, so as to gain advantage in a trial. See, Jay-Z's lawyer plays dirty. Jay-Z's lawyer plays dirty. And what I want you all to pay attention to is the fact that this absolutely prejudices the jury. This absolutely paints a false narrative. It's just like the people in the chat who are sitting there saying, oh, well, she's lying. Well, we don't know if she's lying yet or not. We do know that there are some inconsistencies. But at the end of the day, you see, Jay-Z's attorney is good at painting the narrative. That's why people are saying certain things. Okay, Jay-Z plays dirty too, says Andrew. Exactly. Elijah says Buzbee plays dirty. Well, I mean, he just may, but at the end of the day, who's up here lying? Have we proven that Busby's told one lie? Well, I can already tell you, we've proven that Alex Spiro has told one, at least one that we know of for facts. But let's continue. Let's continue. So second, the defense has repeatedly attacked the credibility of prospective witnesses, focusing on the credibility of a suspected government witness, the Adams staffer in the indictment, and claiming that the government has concealed from the defense exculpatory information from the Adams staffer, and that the charges against the defendant depend entirely on the Adams staffer's testimony. These claims, which should not have been litigated through public statements, have not held up to scrutiny. When questioned by the press, defense counsel has declined to identify what lies the Adams staffer has told. I mean, basically saying that this person's lying, but hasn't proven where they lied. That's what that is. Are y'all listening? Are y'all hearing this? I find it all so interesting. Now, it goes on to say, other than the lie that Adams was not engaged in criminal conduct with her, which is in fact specifically alleged in the indictment, and has declined to has declined to explain the Adams staffer's supposed motivation to falsely implicate Adams. Like, why would the person want to lie? What is the motivation for them telling a lie? What do they have to gain? Moreover, as defense counsel knows from the government's discovery materials, the various witnesses in the case are in fact heavily corroborated not only by one another, but by the raft of electronic communications, photographs, and calendar entries already described among other evidence. Like their claims of selective prosecution, defense counsel has not sought to raise with the court claims about supposed concealed information from the Adams staffer, having let the deadline for motions under Rule 12 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure come and go. Now, on September 30th of 2024, the government sent defense counsel a letter alerting them to Local Criminal Rule 23.1 and the manner in which their statements to the press violated that rule. The government made it clear that it might seek relief from the court in the event that defense counsel continued to violate the rule. Well, guess what? They didn't respond. That's what they didn't do. Instead, on October the 7th of 2024, defense counsel made further statements to the press attacking the credibility of the Adams staffer and grossly mischaracterizing an email exchange between counsel. Isn't that in fact? I want you all to pay attention to the parallels. I want you all to pay attention. Isn't that in fact what Alex Spiro all but did in the case of Jane Doe versus Sean Diddy Combs and Sean Jay-Z Carter? Didn't he, in fact, attack the credibility of the witness, the accuser? Didn't Jay-Z attack the credibility of the accuser's attorney? You see how that goes? You see how this is all lining up? And of course, if this is problematic for the state, if this is problematic with the courts and the prosecution is having a problem with this, what does that tell you about Mr. Alex Spiro? What does that tell you? Because the courts are not complaining about Tony Busby. That's what they're not doing. The courts have not complained one time about Tony Busby thus far. The only ones complaining about Tony Busby are Jay-Z and his team. And the people who have allegedly been bribed into filing those frivolous lawsuits against him. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, goes on to say, even the news story itself did not credit defense counsel's description of the parties in email exchange, but in doing so noted that the press outlet had reviewed a redacted email exchange between the government and defense counsel, revealing that a number of the defense had provided the actual email exchange plainly non-public information, to the press. And as noted above, defense counsel recently mischaracterized the court's ruling in order to once again attack the merits of the case. See, this is what you do when you know it's looking bad for you. When you know it's looking bad for you, you immediately get on the offense. You immediately start attacking the opponent. That's what you do. And that's all that Alex Spiro has been doing in both of these cases, both with Jay-Z versus Jane Doe, and also now with Eric Adams. Now, defense counsel has plainly violated Local Criminal Rule 23.1. The foregoing statements refer to the identity, testimony, or credibility of prospective witnesses and/or offer an opinion as to the merits of the case or the evidence in the case, and therefore presumptively involve a substantial likelihood that their public dissemination will interfere with a fair trial or otherwise prejudice the due administration of justice within the meaning of Local Criminal Rule 23.1. Adams, like every criminal defendant, is entitled to a zealous defense. His counsel is free to make arguments about the indictment, the evidence, or the government's witnesses to the court. To the court. Key word. To the court. Okay? Not to the general public. Because this is just like what Diddy and Mark Agnifilo were arguing. Remember, they kept saying that the prosecution in that case was basically trying to put information out there to the public by going to the media. Of course, they denied it, and the judge felt like they didn't have enough proof to substantiate their claims that the prosecution was doing this. But the judge also warned the prosecution that you better not be doing it, because this can dirty the jury pool. You can paint a whole fictitious narrative and then have things going the wrong way, and then it can be an unfair trial. Okay? Interfering with due process of law. Now, with that all being said, but rather than test those allegations in a court of law, where, for example, he would have to grapple with the true timeline of the investigation or the multitude of witnesses and electronic data supporting the charges in the indictment, defense counsel has instead chosen to litigate this case in press statements, where he can simply pretend certain facts do not exist. Exactly what Local Criminal Rule 23.1 rightly precludes. Now, the purpose of the rule is to promote fair trials because before untainted jury pools. That is an aim that the government shares and that defense counsel should as well. In light of defense counsel's course of conduct, the government respectfully requests the court direct counsel for the parties to comply with the rule. Respectfully submitted, Edward Y. Kim, acting United States Attorney. All right, so I'm sorry. Alex Spiro is a whole hot mess, is all I'm saying. Y'all hearing this? That's what he's doing. He's a whole mess. He's just out here doing what he wants to do and saying whatever he wants to say. Okay? He's playing dirty. That's what he's doing. He's accusing people of lying, but he doesn't have any proof that they lied about anything. He's saying that the case is meritless, but he has no proof that the case is meritless. Okay, he's acting as though the timeline, he's trying to change up the timeline, saying October of 2022, when they said, you know darn well, Mr. Spiro, that this investigation started in 2021, well before Mr. Eric Adams was even the mayor. Okay, Reggie said he's a thug. Absolutely. Okay, Monique says, Jay-Z hasn't did anything for any of us. Thank you. Certainly hasn't done anything for me that I can recall. Okay. So anyway, with that all been said, I'm out of here. Listen, I hope you all got something out of the broadcast. Whether you love it or hate it, you know, at the end of the day, the queen ain't going to stop. All right? Whether you love me or hate me, the queen ain't going to stop. All right? So with that all been said, honey, y'all don't have to agree with me, but what you won't do is come over here and be talking slick and crazy and greasy, okay? Like y'all all at Popeyes. You're not going to be talking greasy and just get away with it. All right? That's what you're not going to do. Please pay attention. Real as it gets as Jay-Z, you better eat good before the Fed comes. Before the feds come. Well, I love y'all to life. Rich is a great broadcast. Thank you, beloved. So listen, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you guys. Uppercut said, I mean, his case is falling apart against Jay-Z. I mean, he's slow dragging this process to stall time because he knows his case is falling apart. You guys just don't see it. Honey, I don't know what you see and what you're looking at, but I don't see anywhere the case is falling apart as of yet. Now, I'm not going to say that it won't fall apart eventually, but as of now, the only thing falling apart is Jay-Z and his attorney's credibility. That's what's falling apart, okay? That's what's falling apart is Jay-Z and Alex Spiro's credibility. Because right now, Alex Spiro's just looking like a liar who lies. That's what it's looking like. A liar who lies and one who doesn't want to follow the rules of civil procedure. And even criminal procedure in the case of Mayor Eric Adams. Okay? At the end of the day, let me get this troll out of here talking crazy. All right? Now, with that all being said, talking about they're a white guy looking for a black guy to come smoke their pole. Sir, if you don't get your nasty, nefarious self up out of my chat, okay? Thank you, we the people. All right, so with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one, but that's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, okay, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Uppercut said, once we find out who the lady is that's accusing JT, we'll be able to search her school records to see if she was at school. Also, we'll be able to check her mental faculties at 13 years old. Yes, absolutely, beloved. And guess what, Uppercut? I agree that we absolutely should. I agree that we absolutely should, beloved. Yes, once we know who she is, we will be able to do those things. And trust me, I will be doing it. Okay? Please pay attention. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and vouch for who didn't do or did what because I don't know these people in real life. Okay, I don't know these people in real life, but I tell you what I did know is that Tony Busby wasn't stupid and that he wasn't going to put that lady out there and let her do that interview and not know what the hell she's going to say before she said it. Okay, that's what I want y'all to pay attention to. And I want to tell y'all something else where Tony Busby got down on y'all at. When y'all were sitting there talking about, oh, Tony Busby didn't even vet the woman. He said another team, and Alex Spiro took it and ran with it, him and Jay-Z with their nefarious selves. Oh, he didn't even vet her. He tried to pawn it off on another law firm. First of all, I knew that was all cap. No other law firm vetted that woman. Tony Busby vetted her himself. Tony Busby already told us at the press conference that he was going to be vetting these people. He had a team of people that would vet them and vet the cases and that they would not take on any case that they did not properly vet. And when he said that another law firm sent her to him, I knew he was just pulling their leg because here's why. At the end of the day, if another law firm did send her to them, well, they must be a law firm that doesn't deal in that type of law because otherwise they would have kept the case for themselves. Okay, and if they didn't want to keep the case because they didn't think that it was relevant or that she was telling the truth, then Tony Busby himself wouldn't have taken it. Y'all gotta start using critical thinking skills, is all I'm saying. Okay, that's what y'all gotta start doing. That's what y'all gotta start doing. Miss Sanders said, I think her name is Charlene Latham. I already talked about that case, beloved. I talked about that case 5 months ago. Okay, the case was Charlene Latham, and it was several other people. It was the mother, the grandmother, the brother, the husband, the kids. I already talked about the case 5 months ago. And just to reiterate it to people who may have missed it or to those that already saw it, I talked about it again days ago. Okay, I had the whole lawsuit and everything. Nobody else on ScrewTube talked about that case but me, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you heard that here first. 5 months ago, I talked about it, and again the other day. And also there was a man who also had the same allegations against Jay-Z and a myriad of other people. So if you missed that broadcast, just go back and watch. I did it like 2 or 3 days ago. Okay, I did it 5 months ago the first time, and then I brought it back up and showed the video from 5 months ago in the broadcast I did like 2 or 3 days ago. Okay, so yeah. We've been talking about Jay-Z since 2021. I already been talking about Diddy and Jay-Z since 2021. And 2021, I keep telling you guys that me and Odd Negroes Official predicted that Cassie would expose Diddy. I told you guys that in my opinion, Jay-Z and Diddy are the feds. All right? I'm just saying, please pay attention. All right, are y'all listening? And shout out to the replay gang who will be catching this on the replay. And also, if you missed the broadcast that I did about Usher, Jay-Z, and Russell Simmons, please go back and watch. You heard that here first. Nobody else is talking about that. I literally dreamt about it. I had a vision days ago, and then I dreamt about it, okay? And I told you all days ago that I had this vision, but I wasn't going to talk about it until I put it all together and figured it all out, okay? With that all being said, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this day, okay? With that all being said, hold on. I want y'all to pay attention to this. Listen, you guys. D Smart Black 2 said, Kat, where's the proof of your prediction? Well, here's the proof of it, beloved. Okay, everybody listening within the sound of my voice, put ones in the chat. If you remember that I predicted that Diddy, and I have a whole video, sir, you can go look it up, where I predicted Diddy would be arrested mid to late September. Ones in the chat if you remember that prediction. That I said Diddy would be arrested mid to late September. You heard it here first. Nobody else predicted that. Okay. People started saying it after the facts. 1 or 2 people did. Okay, thank you. Ones in the chat, if you all remembered in 2020, when I said I had 2 dreams, that Trump was going to be targeted for assassination and the Secret Service would be involved. Ones in the chat for that. Sir, I'm sorry. You can hate on the queen all you want, honey, but I have spiritual gifts. Okay, I have prophetic visions. All right, I have precognition. I have clairaudience, and I can remote view, and I astro project as well. All of these things that we talk about on my spiritual channel. Okay, so I'm sorry, sir. Say what now? I'll say who? Yeah, that's who. Sit down somewhere. Okay, clearly you have just come in the chat and don't know the queen, honey. Here's the thing. you don't like what the queen is cooking, guess what? You can always exit stage left. All right. I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. I'm here sharing my thoughts, views, and opinions, just like everybody else on ScrewTube, sir. Okay? You can agree to disagree. You can agree to disagree. So that being said, Larry says the truth can't be bound and gagged for long. Exactly, beloved. It always comes to light. It always comes to light. Oh, hold on, you guys. Hold on, you guys. Before D Smart Black 2 said, okay, I will sub and check you out. Well, thank you, beloveds. All right. Now listen, one more thing. Uppercut said, Queen, you are not a queen. Queens stick by black men. Sir, or ma'am, I don't know which you are, but I am a queen. I'm the queen of receipts. And for two, I do stick by black men when they're right. Okay? Do you want me to stick by Tim Scott? Do you want me to stick by Tim Scott? I have several questions. So I have to stick by somebody just because they're black, because everybody that's black ain't right. Do you want me to stick by Candace Owens? I'm sorry, please make yourself make sense. I'm for what's right. And like Cat Williams said, it's not about black or white. It's about God's side and the other side. Point blank and serious. Okay? And don't ever try to question my blackness and my loyalty to black folk, because clearly you don't know me like that, boo-boo. Okay? That's what you don't know. All right? That's what you don't know. Okay? Have several seats. Have several seats. That's what you can do. I thought the bullshit women said, get them out of here. You don't need them, Queen. I think I will get them out of here because I don't like how you came at me. I don't like how you came at me, okay? Don't ever tell me I'm not a queen, honey. I'm sorry, say what? Now, anyway, Desmond said, don't disrespect the queen. Okay, so anyway, here's the thing. Keep in mind that I never said Jay-Z was guilty. I never said the young lady was telling the truth. What I did say is that is for her attorney to prove, and that is also for Jay-Z's attorney to prove. But at the end of the day, let us not sit here and act like there hasn't been rumors about Jay-Z for decades, just like there's been rumors about Diddy for decades. Okay, let's not sit here and act like that. Is all I'm saying. Okay, let's not. Reggie said Patti LaBelle has spoken. Exactly. Y'all know I'm Patti LaBelle and proud of it. Okay. Sit down somewhere. Hold on. Andrew says, Queen, I'm not black, but I've got a suntan, LOL. Okay, and that's fine too. All are welcome in my chat. All are welcome in my chat as long as you're respectful to me and everyone else in the chat. Okay, everyone respect everyone. Nobody needs to be in here calling people names, going in. Okay, HC Project says, new subscriber here. Girls speak the truth. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. And one more thing I wanted to say before I go. For those of you, DJ Big Six said trolls be trolling for no reason. Exactly. But here's the thing. For those of you that have been following me since I started this channel in 2020, one's in the chat, if you remember me predicting in 2020 about the pandemic and about the venom. Once in the chat, if you remember me predicting it, I literally said it 2 weeks before the pandemic. I told you all I had a dream. How many of you remember that once in the chat that I predicted the pandemic and then I predicted the venom? I also predicted that there would be a terroristic threat or a terroristic attack in Nova Scotia, April the 20th of 2020. Things that you can easily go look up. Okay, I'm sorry. Don't test the queen is all I'm saying. All right? And someone sent me an email or someone sent me a Cash App asking me about a reading. Let me tell all of you guys, if you want a reading, now I had stopped doing them because I really am so strapped for time. I have a myriad of things to do. But if you do want or need a reading, okay, you can send me an email to the root of all evil 227 at gmail.com and put reading in the subject. Okay. And then I will email you back letting you know my availability or whatever. And once you confirm that you can be there at that time or whatever, then I will schedule it and send you the link. Okay. DM said, I just subscribed, listen to you often. LOL, don't tell me that someone tried to revoke your black card. Okay, I know, right? The hate of it all, beloved. Thank you for subscribing. Okay, so with that all been said, I love you all to life. Andrew said never took the venom. Me either, beloved. Me either. Okay, so Rod, the one and only, said readings can be draining on you, Queen, as well. Yeah, sometimes they can be. No cap. They really can sometimes. Okay, just depending. Okay, so anyway, with that all been said, Reggie says if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, exit stage left. All right. So anyway, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, peace.
Hey, yo, Nick, hit him with that flavor.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the Queen, why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the Queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the Queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood. Kings all in my circle, you touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the Queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got